Good afternoon to you, real entrepreneurs, and happy Friday. How are you doing on this lovely day? Welcome to you. Welcome. Greetings from Dubai. Tell me, where in the world are you? How are you doing? Few people coming in now. Nice to see you. How are we all doing today on this April Friday afternoon? How is the weather where you are? How are you doing? How's your week been? Easter weekend, how was it for you? Greetings to you. Thank you so much for joining. Nice to see you. Give me a wave if you're watching. How is your family? How's your business? How's your team? Really great to see you. Hi Martin. Hi Sam. Hi Tracy. Hi Sufi. Did I see Vanessa on there? Hello. And also hello to you that are watching later, because I know that not everybody can join us live today. So hope that you are doing well. Hi Henrik, hi MJ, thank you so much for joining. So greetings to you. How are you doing? How was your week? And how was your Easter weekend? Did you have a long Easter weekend? In the UK, there was Friday and Monday off. Let me know how it was where you were. Henrik, I think that you were away with the family. Looked like you were having a fabulous time. Lots of great pictures. MJ, I saw some pictures from you as well. So great to see you. Happy Easter. Happy Friday. How are you doing? Greetings from Dubai. Do let me know where in the world you are. How is your family? How is your business? How is your team? Did I just see Vanessa popping up there? Nice to see you as well. Thank you all for joining. So how has this week been for you? Lots of people getting the vaccine, lots of people not getting the vaccine. Lockdowns easing and tightening depending on where you are in the world. So let me know, how are you managing to juggle all of that with business, with family? Also, what are you working? What have you been working on this week? Maybe it's been a short week for you. It's been a great week for me. I have decided that I'm going to write another book, and I am so excited. More on that to come, of course, in the coming weeks. I will keep you posted. But if you would like to write a book and you would like some accountability to keep you on track, then please do get in touch, because I am starting to write. I've planned it out and I'm starting to write. So if that's something that you'd like to do and you'd like to kind of do it together, buddy up a little bit, let me know, right? So I am looking for some interview candidates, and this is where you can help me. People with some professional skills, lawyers, accountants, architects, marketeers, who are looking to transition out of employment or who have already made the move. So if you know anyone that fits that bill, then please do introduce them to me. I'd love to interview them for my book. I will be referencing some people by name, but of course some people that are maybe just thinking about it a bit earlier in the process might not want to be referenced by name, and that's totally fine. There will also be some anonymous case studies in my book. So if you know anyone that's already made that transition or is thinking about taking their very niche specialist skills out and doing it for themselves, then do let me know. I would love to interview people that are at different stages of that journey. So thank you to all of you that have been referring friends or colleagues to me. My waiting list system, I should say, is really working well, so that people know when I'm going to be able to start working with them. We are going to start doing some more people management workshops as well. I've had a few inquiries and they're about to schedule some new dates for that. So if that's something that you'd be interested in for you or for your team, then do let me know, and I can send you through the link. Lots of new joiners to this community. Welcome to each and every one of you. I'm really passionate about helping business owners wherever they are in the journey and serving all of you and giving you lots of great value in these weekly lives. However busy I get, and yes, I'm a busy lady, but I will continue to give lots and lots of time and energy to this community, because I want you to know that you are not alone. Please feel free to post your questions or challenges. Those of you that have tried posting, I've changed the settings so that my team review the posts before they go out. That was just to stop a few people that were blatantly trying to sell or simply just, sharing a link from their page. That's not what we're about here. We're about solving challenges and learning from each other, not about promoting our businesses. Let's talk about what's going inside your business rather than trying to sell to each other, right? So last week we had our first Ask Me Anything session in this group. Every Monday at 3 p.m. UK time, I'm here in the group to answer your questions. Any questions that you have about starting or running a business, either pop your questions into the group in advance or join me at 3 p.m. every Monday to get them answered live. Let's get you moving on whatever is blocking you or any burning questions that you might have about starting, running a business, managing people, anything to do with business. So that's what I've been up to. What about you? It seems like it continues to be a busy time for everybody, so I appreciate you carving out time to listen to me today, either live or later in the video. I hope that you and your business are thriving, I really do. But do you know what? If you're not, and we all have ups and downs, then that's okay too. Please let us know what support you need. You are not alone. I can see that several of you have booked in a clarity call for next week. I'm really looking forward to speaking with you, and if you'd like to get past your blockers, take that next step in your business, then do book in a call with me and let me give you a dose of clarity. I've got a few slots that I make available each week for these calls, so grab yours now. You'll find the link in the pinned post at the top of this group. So last week we were talking about a really important topic. We were looking at doing things your way, and we were looking at some hints and tips to keep you engaged with things that are not necessarily in your flow. Maybe you don't have a team just yet, or maybe you're still having to do things that are kind of putting you outside of your flow and kind of draining your energy. So I was giving you some hints and tips on how you could structure things or how you could approach things to help you get past some of those blockers. If you didn't get a chance to join me live last week, you can find the recording in this group. All of my lives are organised into guides. There are 4 of them in this group. So there's a welcome guide with some information about me and about the group and some helpful resources. And then there are 3 guides filled with all of the lives and other resources, templates, etc., dating back all the way to when we started this community. Can you believe it? June 2019. So we'll be coming up for 2 years. Wow, how the time has flown. If you are feeling overwhelmed or you're feeling stretched too thin, not quite sure what to focus on, or how to get organised, then head over to the Simplify Your Business guide, which has loads of hints and tips on how to make life easier for yourself, how to organise your time and focus on what's really important. Then there's the Grow Your Business guide, which is all about client acquisition, scaling and managing people. So if that's what you are tackling right now and you're finding that a challenge, then that is the place for you to find loads of great resources and support that you need. And finally, very importantly, there's the Enjoy Your Business guide, I should say, which focuses really on you and your role and how to ensure that the business that you are building, whatever that might be, continues to delight and inspire you. What we really don't want is you falling out of love with your business. So head over to the Enjoy Your Business guide if that sounds like you. So everything that I do, all of these lives, the work that I do with clients, all of them fall into one of these 3 areas: simplify, grow and enjoy your business. We've organised all of the lives and all of the resources in this group into those 3 categories so that you can really quickly and easily find the support you need. I know that time is precious for all of us. I want all 3 of those for you: simplify, grow and enjoy. Of course I do, but you will know which one is going to be most relevant for you right now. So do check out the guides in this group. So, what are we talking about today? As you know, I tend to take my cues from you in terms of what would be helpful for me to cover during these live sessions. Sometimes maybe I read something or I reflect on a past experience and take the learnings of that to share with you. Often maybe I might share something from my book or what I'm working with my clients on. But most often these lives come from conversations, questions, and also requests that I get from this community. So do let me know where are you stuck, what questions do you have, what challenges are you facing, and I also I will be using some of the questions that you ask me in those Ask Me Anything sessions every Monday 3 p.m. UK time. So this week's live is actually inspired by a suggestion and a question from a member of this community. Hey Richard, I don't think you're with us right yet, but I think that you'll be watching later, so hello to you. This week, it's all about dealing with bad news. So, you have poured your heart and soul into your business. It's your baby and you care deeply and passionately about every single bit of it. Every person, every client, every process, every single piece of your business. So how do you deal with news that you don't like? A team member moving on, a dissatisfied client, supplier or investor. How do you protect yourself from taking everything personally, from taking everything to heart? Today's live is designed to give you some things to think about, but also some actions that you can take right away. So I don't need to tell any of you that being a business owner can be a complete roller coaster ride full of ups and downs, highs and lows. And receiving bad news at any point of time can be incredibly jarring, particularly if it's completely unexpected. And we can have that feeling of our world being completely turned upside down. Not only do you need to manage all of the consequences of the news that you've just received, but you also need to handle the effect that bad news might be having on your physical and mental health. And don't underestimate that. Receiving bad news of any form can have a kind of an instant effect, like that jarring effect, on your body actually, and cause your sort of flight or fight response to kick in. So be ready for that. And recognize it when it's happening, right? Your adrenaline might start pumping, your heart might start racing, your breath might get shallow, your mind might begin to kind of racing and starting to catastrophize and thinking about all those worst case scenarios, right? And all of this happens in just a few seconds after you've received this bad news. You might feel tired, you might feel stressed out, or you might just feel completely overwhelmed and unable to cope. And it's important that you recognize what is going on. Everybody responds to tension and to trauma differently, but there are steps that you can take to tackle what seems like an insurmountable mountain ahead of you. Dealing with the bad news, adopting coping mechanisms, and ultimately making the situation less traumatic for you and for your business. So I'd like to share with you today the 5 steps that you can take when you receive some unwelcome news, let's call it that. So here are my 5 steps. And number 1 is very much to accept what is going on, accept how you are feeling. Don't try and rationalize, don't try and change it, don't try and give yourself a hard time. Accept that you are feeling how you're feeling, right? Receiving any kind of concerning news can trigger that kind of seemingly endless spiral of negative emotions. And when we are confronted with negative emotions, it can be really very tempting to try and sort of resist acknowledging how we're feeling. Yeah, so stiff upper lip, keep calm and carry on. It's quite tempting to kind of just push those dark emotions to one side, for very good reasons, because we're trying to protect ourselves, right? But research studies have found that attempting to avoid your negative emotions actually just causes you more stress than confronting it head on, right? So research subjects in studies who accepted their short-term negative emotions actually experienced fewer longer-term negative emotions. And therefore they had improved psychological health compared with those people, those study subjects if you like, that kind of were pushing the emotion and trying to kind of pretend that they weren't feeling how they were feeling. And what the scientists said and how they explained it, that our approach to negative emotions and emotional reactions is actually essential for our well-being. Individuals who accept negative emotions without trying to change them are much better equipped to deal with stress. And as a business owner, you need to be ready for bad news and negative emotions. You need to be prepared for your body and your mind's emotional response to that. Yeah. So the first thing, my first step is very much to accept those feelings. Whatever you're feeling, accept how you are feeling. It's your response. It's your right to have that reaction, if you like. Number two, it's really important to face up what is happening. Face what is happening. In a very similar way to when we try to avoid negative emotions, it's actually tempting sometimes when we receive bad news to kind of go into avoidance mode, kind of head in the sand, ostrich mode. And this involves attempting to shut out everything in your mind that's associated with that unwelcome news. And most of the time, the vast majority of time, to be honest, avoiding the situation at hand is counterproductive, and ultimately it leads to you thinking about it more, right? Because the more you try and tell your brain, stop thinking about that, the more that you will think about it. So fighting that urge to think about your bad news, so your brain wants to process and you're trying to stop it doing that. That can lead to all kinds of tension in your stomach, in your shoulders, in your chest. It can lead you to get very distracted, and ultimately it can lead to chronic stress, digestive problems, and just feeling generally hugely lethargic. So your brain is actually much more able to deal with negative news than you give it credit for. And I know that we're all trying to protect ourselves, but actually our brain is designed to deal, right? Our brain is designed to keep us safe, and by processing the news, that's exactly what it's doing. So it's by processing and digesting experiences that you can let go of them and move on, and that is absolutely vital. So again, if we look at the research, it shows that actually repeated exposure to a negative event can actually neutralize its negative effects on your thoughts and your mood. So for example, if you read a newspaper article about a tragedy before you go to work, it's better actually to read it thoroughly and repeatedly expose yourself to that information than just read the headline and then kind of attempt to not to think about it. So if you're receiving news, it's good to just allow yourself to process it, and it's good to think through it multiple times. Let your mind go round it a few times. It's what most of us do. It's just trying to process what's happening. By allowing yourself time to reflect on what's happening and what has happened, you will then feel freer to continue to go about your day and to take action without it affecting your moods and your emotions. So just understand what's going on and let yourself process it. Okay, number 3, very important. Step 3 is reframing your thoughts. You've accepted your negative emotion and you've repeatedly reflected on the stressful news. So what do you do now? Now, what you need to do is try to reframe the bad news. And I hesitated to call this session bad news, but that was the way that Richard framed the question to me. So I thought it would be helpful for you if I did call this how to deal with bad news. But one of the ways to deal with bad news is actually to reframe it. And this is very, very important. Reframing the way that you think about bad news can actually help you view the situation in a new light and improve your overall perspective, and this is really important. So firstly, I would ask you, is it really bad news? So some of those examples that I gave you right at the beginning, an employee moving on, is that necessarily bad news? It gives you the opportunity to hire someone even better or restructure your team, do things a little bit differently. And I know it's hard, but be happy for them. If they've got a new opportunity, then be happy for them that they're moving on to something bigger and better and more suited to them. I always tell my clients, those people that are with you at the beginning are not necessarily the people that are with you during the growth phase or during the subsequent phases of your business. Yeah. So people will come and go. It's not bad news. It's an opportunity. And that's a way that we can reframe it, right? In a similar way, another of the examples that I gave you at the beginning, a customer complaint actually gives us the opportunity to learn and to improve. And I know it makes us cringe and we wish that it never happened. But actually, studies show that often customers are even more loyal after they've complained and you fix the problem, assuming that you fix the problem to their satisfaction. But actually, that can actually increase loyalty. So again, an opportunity to learn, to improve your processes, to improve your systems, and to connect with your customers and improve loyalty. So not all situations, I'm not trying to make light of this, not all situations are can be reframed so easily. I understand that, but highlighting the positives is always a really great thing to do and will always help you keep things in perspective rather than catastrophizing. Some people are better at dealing with adversity throughout life than others, and that is also true. As business owners, we need to be resilient, of course, because there are those ups and downs, and we will never go through our whole business journey without having some bad news. So some individuals crumble at the first hurdle and others have more resilience that enables them to stay calm when under pressure. And resilience is certainly something that you need to develop and develop pretty quickly as a business owner, as an entrepreneur. The good news is that acquiring resilience and learning how to overcome adversity can be learned, right? This is something that you can learn, and it involves working on your thoughts and your behaviors as well as your actions. And a lot of, if you think about it, a lot of what I'm sharing with you each Friday on these lives is really about building your resilience and working on your thoughts and your behaviors as well as what you actually do. So reframing is super important. What are the positives in this situation? However bad it feels in the moment, what's the upside? What's the upside? So step 4, reach out for support. This is really, really important. Getting external perspectives is super important when facing bad news, yeah, because we can go down the rabbit hole, as I've explained, of catastrophizing, of panicking, of the worst case scenarios, and actually talking it through with somebody else helps us get a different perspective, helps us actually figure out what the upside is, because sometimes we can't see that even if we ask ourselves that question. Other people can definitely help you reframe what is happening and also help you see the possible opportunities as well as the upsides. So step 4, reach out to your network, reach out on this community. That's one of the reasons this community exists, right? Is to help each other spot opportunities, meet challenges, reframe difficult situations. So please use this community to help you deal with challenging times. That is absolutely what we are here for. And step 5, be kind to yourself. It's really important to understand what you're going through and to give yourself a bit of a break. It's totally understandable and quite normal if you feel tired or drained after receiving some news, some unexpectedly challenging news. Be compassionate of what you're going through. Give yourself time to process. And please look after your mental and physical health, as I always say. Make sure that you're eating well and drinking plenty of water. It's really easy to forget the basics when we're stressed or when we're anxious, particularly if you've had a strong physical reaction. Breathing shallowly can help us, can make us dehydrated. So it is really important to listen to what your body is telling you. Make sure you're drinking, make sure you're resting, make sure that you're keeping your energy levels up. As I say, it's really easy to forget the basics when we are stressed or anxious. The old saying, things always look better in the morning. Sometimes you just need to sleep on something to find the right answer. So if you're going round and round something and it's not really looking any better, just give yourself a break, yeah? Take a break, maybe sleep on it. Just don't push yourself to find a solution. I know it's urgent, it always feels it's urgent, but most things can wait an hour or two, or most things can wait till the morning. So just listen to what your body and what your mind is telling you. Try meditation or yoga to help you breathe more deeply, as I say, particularly if you have a really strong kind of panic physical reaction. Meditation and yoga is great to get you breathing back deeply, and that is so good for your body as well. It also helps you reduce anxiety, and it certainly helps you sleep better. Get out in nature, go and do some vigorous exercise. I mean, that is one of the main ways that I deal with stress. I mean, lots of good stress. I love what I do, but I'm juggling an awful lot of things. And exercise is such an important way of just clearing your head and just getting into your body. I feel like I give my body over to Soren every morning, every weekday morning when I go training with him. And, you know, for an hour, I'm not making decisions, I'm just doing as I'm told, and that is just amazing. Being in your body, sweating is also just great to cleanse your system, and it's just really positive. And I know it's not everybody's cup of tea, so vigorous exercise is not your thing. Change your environment, go out for a walk, give your head a bit of a break, go and look at it's springtime in many of the places where you are, so go out and into nature, you know, look at all the flowers and the trees and the beautiful countryside if you have the opportunity. Keeping a journal is a really great way of getting some perspective on what's happening, for sure. Forcing yourself also to write down and capture the positive aspects of a particular situation, and also what you're grateful for. Gratitude is also amazing when you're feeling kind of under the cosh or a bit overwhelmed with everything. What am I grateful for? It's easy to focus on the negative things, but most of us are incredibly fortunate in our lives. However, whatever challenges you're facing, let's face it, we're all really fortunate in our lives. So what are you grateful for? And that will help you find that balance in your emotional state to help you see the situation clearly. And once you've followed those steps, you'll be in a much better position to then make some decisions and take some steps once you've reframed and got it all into perspective. So make sure that you avoid numbing behaviours. You know what I'm talking about, right? So being busy for the sake of it, yeah? So sometimes if we're in avoidance mode, busy for the sake of it, alcohol, binge eating, all of those things, those behaviours, I don't need to tell you, but I'm going to tell you anyway. I'm going to remind you, these behaviours, they only dull your feelings temporarily. They don't make you feel better, and they don't help you work through what you're feeling. You're only putting it off. And as I say, all the research shows that if you try and put off all that negativity rather than processing it, you're only going to suffer in the long term. It's much better just to deal and give your body and your mind what it needs in order to deal. I'm not saying don't give yourself time, but deal, don't avoid. Do not allow yourself to catastrophize. Be confident in your ability to find solutions. I believe in your ability to find solutions. Believe in yourself and your ability to find your way through this. However bad you think the news is, you will find a way to deal. Learn from your mistakes, be flexible, and come back stronger. So they are my 5 steps. Accept your feelings, face what is happening, reframe your thoughts to see the positive aspects of the opportunities, reach out for support, and be kind to yourself and look after yourself. Do let me know your questions or comments. How do you deal with bad news? Does what I've told you today, does that resonate with you? Is that what you do, or are you more avoid? We can't do that really as business owners, right? Head in the sand doesn't work very well, and when you've got a business to run. So let me know, what is your next step in life, in business? What do you need to make you feel more confident? Do book in a clarity call, and let's get you moving past whatever is blocking your progress and on to the next challenge. There's always another one, right? So before I close up for today, I just want to give you some next steps, as I do every week, some really concrete things that I suggest you do as a result of today's live. So the first step I would take is think back of some examples of bad news that you have dealt with in the past, or maybe think about bad news that you dread maybe is coming your way, and maybe that you are avoiding. So just get really clear about some examples of what you would define as bad news. And then the next step is think about what are you fearing? What are you what are you catastrophizing about that? What are the negative emotions associated with that bad news? What do you fear is going to happen? And then the third step is really, how could you reframe those past events that maybe, some of us have scarring or trauma from bad events in the past. How could you reframe what has happened or what you fear might happen? Think about what the opportunities were or might be, and see how you can reframe, just to get your head into that process. Those 5 steps, as I mentioned: accept your feelings, face what's happening, reframe your thoughts, reach out for support, and be kind to yourself. Just if you work through scenarios that have happened or you fear might happen, you just prepare yourself for the unexpected things that happen in business from time to time. So please do let me know how you get on with that. And let me know if you need any support, if you want to talk through any of this with me. I'm going to close up today's live with 2 quotes about challenging times, which is what we're really talking about here. So the first one is from Roger Crawford, who was a former tennis professional and motivational speaker. And his quote is, "Being challenged in life is inevitable. Being defeated is optional." And my second quote is from Michel de Montaigne, who was a French Renaissance philosopher. "A man is not hurt so much by what happens as by his opinion of what happens." So how do you choose to deal with bad news? At the end of the day, it's about how you view it. As Michel de Montaigne says, it's about your opinion of what happens. So how do you view bad news that comes to you? Do you view it as the end of the world, or as an opportunity to learn, to grow, to improve? Decide now, how are you going to meet challenges that will come your way along your business journey? Decide what's really important to you and stick to it. Building a business is tough, as I always say. It can be a long, hard, and sometimes lonely road. Make sure that you are building something that is truly meaningful to you, that will sustain you through the tough times. If you're not excited to get out of bed and do what you do, then please find something that makes you that excited to get out of bed. Be intentional. Say no to things that don't serve you or the goal that you want to achieve. And as I pass back over to you, as I do every week, that is really what I want you to take from today. What is the outcome you seek, the result, the goal? Put your energy into getting really clear about that. People spend so much time trying to figure out how to do things without really getting clear about what they want. Allow yourself, get really clear about what you want, but please allow yourself to do things your way. That's what we were talking about last week, right? Yes, of course, by all means, learn from me, learn from others, but then synthesize all of that learning, bring it inside of you, and then what comes out must be congruent with you. It must work for you. That is why we talk about building a business that works for you. Success looks different for each and every one of us. You are not in a race with anybody else. You are on your journey. If you want to build something huge, go for it. Amazing. But if you just want to do your thing and go with the flow, then that is absolutely okay as well. Focus on listening to yourself and ask yourself, what do you need so that you can spend more of your time in your flow, that special place where things are just easy and they just move and they just flow in your zone of genius. Don't forget that the opposite of that flow, of that zone, is friction. So if things are getting really hard, if things are feeling really tough, just take a step back, just pause, because things are not supposed to be that difficult. Yes, sometimes we have to push through, but if things are really difficult, please do take a step back and focus on getting some clarity. Get some objective input, talk it through with somebody in your network, hire the services of a business coach. Take some time to look at what you're doing and where an easier path would start from and lead to. Ask yourself, really seriously, please ask yourself, what would a business that really works for me look like? Let me know your thoughts and questions on this or any other topic relating to how to simplify, grow and enjoy your business. What area of business would you like me to speak about next? I am so enjoying this amazing year and supporting all of you in growing all of your wonderful businesses. If you haven't already claimed your free copy of my book, The Real Entrepreneur, then you can go to therealentrepreneurbook.com. If you prefer an Audible or Kindle versions, you can also find those on Amazon. Do check out the resilience section of my book for much more on this topic. Get the foundations right and then you can build from there. And if you do know anybody that is wanting to transition with a set of specialist skills from employment to being self-employed, or maybe who's already done that and would be up for being interviewed for my next book, either anonymously or named, we can negotiate all of that, do send them my way. I really do hope that you have a lovely weekend, whatever you are doing and whoever you're doing it with. I wish you a really happy and peaceful time. And as always, if you want to talk, then you know where I am. Please remember to be where you are in the journey. You don't need to know it all, and you definitely don't have to do it all. Take care, stay safe, and keep in touch. Bye for now.